And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and it's Friday, and you know what that means? A special Toy News of the Week Wrestling Edition. A news week so big, I said I'm going to have to break this into 2 videos, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're talking all things wrestling here today. Saturday's video going to be everything else under the sun. There's a lot of toy news this week. I don't know if all these toy companies throwing everything out there before the Christmas vacation, Christmas holiday season. Not exactly sure, but we're going to dive into all the wrestling news here that interested me, that hopefully interest you this week in this special toy news video. But first, let's do a little housekeeping. Of course, Patreon, December is the month we're in. We got a brand new giveaway. Of course, hit up the Patreon link in the description below. This month's giveaway, a hot one, a timely one. It is the AEW Supreme Walmart exclusive CM Punk. So if you're interested in that, head on over to the Patreon link in the description down below. But let's dive into it. Let's dive into all the wrestling figure news this week. And a lot of different stuff going on this week. A lot of different toy lines that represented this week as well. And we're going to hit it off with our old friends at Ringside Collectibles with their brand new bell-to-bell collection. Now, they did tease this earlier in the week saying, coming soon, bell to bell. And I immediately knew what it was. I think a lot of people were a little bit confused what bell to bell is. What is this? What kind of figures is it going to be? Well, eagle-eyed viewers like myself and some of you guys, and we did talk about this, I don't know, a month ago, 6 weeks ago. Once again, what is time? We did talk about this on the channel. And we did see the bell-to-bell, the first releases under that kind of banner is the Nick Gage, Matt Cardona 2-pack from their death match. That's part of the bell-to-bell collection. So I knew immediately, and a lot of us did know immediately, that this was going to be that style of figures. And now these figures aren't for everybody, of course. They're Remco style, maybe a little bit WWE Superstar style, but more Remco style. And of course, Matt and Brian, Major Pod, Mark Sterling, they got a referee figure. They've had a few of these figures over the last couple of years, but they are moving all their chips into the center of the table. They're going all in on this bell-to-bell line, and I don't know if they could have started this line any hotter than they did. And of course, Ringside Collectible exclusive, so you got to go over to Ringside Collectibles to pre-order these ones. Of course, discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10% on all those kind of things over there. But let's run through these, and I guess we'll start off with the big one here. It is the Steiner Brothers. The Steiner Brothers, we all know we've been wanting Mattel Steiner Brothers. We just recently got them in the Elite form, but we haven't got this Steiner Brothers, the classic tag team Steiner Brothers. Varsity jackets, obviously doesn't say Michigan on them, but we know what it's supposed to represent. We do get those two, of course, Rick and Scott Steiner, but they're not done. Chase edition, another edition, a variant edition, I guess we'll call it, of Rick and Scott. So 2 different Steiner Brothers sets. You can't beat that. But wait, there's more. You can beat that because the greatest tag team of all time comes to the bell-to-bell line. It is the Legion of Doom. It is the Road Warriors. It is the Animal. It is the Hawk. And oh, you know I got to pick that one up. I'm all in on anything LOD. Got to have that one. This is more classic WWF time frame. Would not be shocked if we don't get a variant in the black, of course. We all know about the NWA era of the Road Warriors, AWA, all the other stuff. Got to think that will be coming soon. And then we will get 2 solo carded figures, part of Series 1 here. Of course, Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner rides once again. So 2 Scott Steiners in Wave 1 of the bell-to-bell collection here. But it is his classic WCW look is what we'll call that one there. And then last but certainly not least, a favorite of many across the independent community and AEW community. It is one Danhausen entering the bell-to-bell line. And Danhausen, of course, a classic guy that's never had a figure that he hasn't liked, I think, at the end of the day. So we'll see how that one goes. Interesting face sculpt on this one. I'm going to have to investigate maybe up close on that one. To me, it's wild that the Danhausen, you guys know I'm a sucker for face paint. You know I'm a sucker for face paint. He's probably the weakest link out of this set. So that tells you how strong of a set we have right here for the bell-to-bell collection. And it all depends if this is your collection. There's a lot of people that aren't picking up stuff like this. They're not picking up major bendies, big rubber guys. They're just getting elites, or they're just getting their Jazwares figures. But a lot of longtime collectors, a lot of He-Man fans, a lot of Remco fans will be picking this one up. And of course, once again, Ringside collectible exclusive, discount code Kyle. Save 10%. So there you go. So we got that coming this week. But wait, there's more. And as the great Jerry Reed once said, we've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. It looks like the time is finally now, as it looks like the Asylum Superstars are going to be shipping here in the next week or two. We've been talking on the channel a lot about that the last couple of weeks. Where are they? It was supposed to be August, then September, then October, November. Been pretty quiet. It looks like December is coming. They're bringing those guys out. They are shipping right now across the ocean from China. Should be in people's hands hopefully before the end of the year. So another Road Warriors set. Man, it's all coming up Road Warriors here at the end of 2023. Hopefully 2024 means more Road Warriors, and I think we're all rooting for them to be in the Mattel line or something like that, or at least a Storm collectible to pick them up. We need more Legion of Doom. We need more Road Warrior figures in our collection, but we do have some coming here in December, and then the Bell to Bell line right around the corner as well. So you can't beat that unless you're somebody like, oh, I don't know.
And from the planet of the mimes, the Copper Kid.
Yes, that evil Copper Kid from the planet of the mimes. Oh, watch out for that Copper Kid. He will get you. Sworn enemy of the channel. #1 enemy of the channel at the end of the day. But we're not done with wrestling figure news. Folco. Yes, Folco bobbleheads. We talk about the Warrior ones all the time. Well, this week, they announced a Hulk Hogan one based on that Sports Illustrated cover, the very famous one, the first wrestler ever on the cover of Sports Illustrated. They are getting a bobblehead of the Hulkster again. So these limited edition bobbleheads keep on getting cranked out by Folco. Absolutely amazing. They're much like a young Todd McFarlane. Todd, once again, joining us on the couch. Todd, you're so shy. You should come over here. He's not shy about putting a figure out, but he's shy about talking on camera. But Folco is the Todd McFarlane of the bobblehead world. There's no doubt about it. Folco coming in hot. I'm sure we'll have another one next week. But we're not done. The wrestling news continues. Funko Pop's Fanatic exclusive. What are we doing here? But Fanatics, of course, I believe they're WWE shop now. That whole rigmarole right there. But they did come in hot. That's something piqued my interest. Of course, a few weeks ago, weekly purchases, we got the Funko Pop Ultimate Warrior GameStop Hall of Fame exclusive. Say that 10 times fast. But this week, they did announce the WrestleMania 6 Ultimate Warrior Hulk Hogan 2-pack. That is a must-have. One of the greatest matches of all time, especially in my life. Have to pick that one up. Fanatics exclusive does lead me to believe that's a WWE shop exclusive. You could say that. So we do have that coming in. But then we turn our attention back to Ringside Collectibles. And one thing that piqued my interest this week, now they have cyber sales going on like crazy, different sales, and it's one of those things that's kind of like gambling is really what it is, because they have a lot of deals and a lot of people are waiting for Cyber Monday 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. The danger of waiting, and we all know what Tom Petty said. He brought me over, sat me down. We've talked about it before. The waiting's the hardest part. But sometimes you wait too long and these things do sell out. So just moments before I filmed this video, I did purchase a big Ringside order. Got to think that'll be in next week's weekly purchases, possibly. We'll see what happens. But I had to pick up a few of these things that were missing from my collection. Had to grab those. We'll talk about it in weekly purchases, next week. Not the one in the day or so. The week after that. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. But Ringside Collectibles did have something come in stock that piqued my interest that I saw. It is the Defender cases. Of course, Ringside sells tons of Defender cases. Discount code Kyle, all that kind of fun stuff. Save yourself 10%. But they do have a 4-pack up there for the Defining Moments. And if you're like me, have the old school Defining Moments set, maybe you have them in protector cases. Well, these new ones, you're like, I need protector cases for this. Well, that's exactly what I did get. They have new protector cases over there. They're selling them in a 4-pack. Buy a couple of those. We know there's going to be another Defining Moment next year. That's exactly what I had to do. So I picked up one. I think it was $17.99 for the 4-pack. Got to get a deal out there at the end of the day. So FYI on that. But we're not done with Ringside Collectibles. This week they did put up for pre-order a little AEW. And we're turning our attention to the AEW line right now. We did see the Ringside Collectibles Blood and Guts, Darby Allin, and Big Brody King. Man, I'm all in on this set. I love the Blood and Guts line. I think it's a genius idea. Ringside killing it. Jazwares killing it with these. Darby Allin, the definite weak link of this 2-pack here. We've had so many Darby Allin figures. However, man, this Brody King all day long. Sign me up. I'm excited for that one. That is the star of that 2-pack. Just went up for pre-order on Ringside, so check it out. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. But what also went up for pre-order? AEW Unrivaled Series 14. Series 14 went up there, and it was the Billy Gunn chase that really made people scratch their head and get people a little bit upset, and we'll go through the whole line here, but Billy Gunn's the first one. Billy Gunn's going to get that bunny situation where he is going to be the limited edition chase rare. He is not going to be in the regular line. That is going to upset a lot of people out there because a lot of people were looking for a Billy Gunn or Lex Luger. We all know he looks like Lex Luger, at least in the render. But a lot of people want that Billy Gunn to complete the Acclaimed. You can, however, order that 3-pack from Ringside Collectibles. We know how that goes if you really want to be guaranteed your own Billy Gunn. But a lot of people are going to be mad because they might find that Billy Gunn and they want him loose, but then they feel bad about unboxing a Chase Rare Edition. It's a whole deal, but that seems what Jazwares has set themselves into. That seems to be their way to go to market here for the new strategy. A lot of people don't like it, but it's one of those things that maybe they feel they couldn't get some of this talent out there without it. Billy Gunn, though, like I said, Hall of Famer, head scratcher there. You would think he would move more units than the Bunny would. I don't know. I'm not sure the reasoning. I don't know if we'll ever know the exact answers for that, but Billy Gunn going to be a pretty hard one to get. So make note of that on your travels, on your hunts, and what you're doing out there. So we got that. But the rest of AEW Unrivaled Series 14 is an interesting one. We have Keith Lee, one of the all-time peg warmers for the WWE line. Strange to me because Keith Lee was a big deal in WWE for a little bit of time, and I think a lot of it had to do with him leaving the company and all that kind of stuff, and he was out for a long time before he left the company. I think that caused a lot of that peg warmerness. We'll see if it happens over on the AEW side. We'll see what happens there. Swerve, man, he's a hot property right now. We're getting his first AEW figure. Of course, he did have a WWE Basic back in the day, so we got that coming. We got Toni Storm. A lot of people are going to want Toni Storm, no doubt about it. This one could be a little bit out of date with her new persona online, or on TV, I should say. This would be a perfect one where they could have made a Chase Rare Edition, a variant of this one, and had it in black and white, like the old school Billy Graham or the Undertaker figure back in the Jax days. I think that would have been a really cool idea. I have to imagine maybe a Ringside exclusive, something like that. I could see a black and white Toni Storm coming in the future, so I guess we'll wait for that, because I'm going to bet that'll come in 2024 sometime. We'll see what happens there. Ricky Starks returns to the line. This time he does get the FTW belt that we first saw with Hook, so there's a little change there. So he could be the weak link of the set, if you ask me. Of course, you also get Anthony Bowen's Max Caster, the Acclaim, to match that Billy Gunn. That's another thing why it's a head scratcher. A lot of people want that Billy Gunn to go with these two. Now, not everybody is going to have an opportunity at that. So, going to be strange. I have to imagine we'll get more Billy Gunns in the future, but it's just a bit of a head scratcher. I can't answer that one myself, and I guess, like I said, we'll see if the word comes out for the reasons why. Maybe it never will. Who knows? We'll see what happens there. Last bit of wrestling figure news this week is Bryan Danielson Ring of Honor edition. We did see that. That is going to be a Vault exclusive. I think that's been popping up on eBay. It seems like China, Australia get a lot of these ones first, and you can imagine out of the factories there. But the Bryan Danielson looks really good. It's an improved version of the old school Mattel, which was that Fan Central, I think, Walmart exclusive back in the day off the top of my head. That was a very good figure, an early version of Daniel Bryan. This is Bryan Danielson, of course, as we know. But very cool, and we'll see. A lot of this Vault stuff starting to leak out. My guess, and I don't know anything, they're going to start that Vault in January or February, and a lot of this stuff's going to be ready to ship immediately, much like Mattel Creations has done a few times over the last year or so. That's my gut tells me for the Vault. It's going to start shipping just like that once that site goes up. And we got to remember the Jazwares Vault isn't just going to be AEW. That's the one thing a lot of people get all worked up about AEW figures. You got to remember Jazwares is a lot more than AEW. Have to imagine if they have 10 properties at Jazwares, and they probably got way more than that. AEW's down on the bottom end. Squishmallows is dominating. I bet you Squishmallows probably does as much as AEW does all year in like 2 weeks of business for the year. We got to take a step back on things like that. So you got that. Then you got the Pokemon properties. You got all these other properties there. Jazwares, we're very fortunate we're even getting figures of AEW from them, and a lot of that has to do with good friend of the channel, Jeremy Padower, who is a huge wrestling fan, as we know. So that helps this along. He's not going to let wrestling die on his watch. He is passionate about wrestling. I bet he wishes, and I think we all wish, that wrestling figures like AEW figures were like Squishmallows at the top of the food chain. Just not the way it goes right there. So we always got to take a little bit of that business step back. And speaking of business, how about a little announcement? A little announcement. Some people know about this, but I guess I'll officially announce it here today. I do have a book coming out. Yes, it's a terrible secret, I know, but I do have a book coming out. Hopefully you guys will purchase it. We'll figure it out. And of course, I'll put the links and all that kind of stuff out there. But we're talking the complete guide to the Jack's Classic Superstars series. No stranger out there that I love Jack's Classic Superstars. You guys all know that by now. Every single Tuesday for 3 years now, we've done a deep dive into the Jack's Classic line. And of course, Patreon members, you got another year plus of videos already available to you on Patreon. So another bonus with the Patreon right now. But I've been going through every single one of these figures, talking about it, talking about the rare stuff, the chase stuff, the variants, everything and anything Jack's Class Superstars, and nobody else seems to talk about that line anymore. And I said, I'm going to put this all together. It is my personal collection. You got mint on card pictures, you got loose pictures, you got facts, you got good friend of the channel, once again, Jeremy Padower, an interview with Jeremy for the book in there. A lot of fun stuff and a lot of stuff of my personal collection in there. As you guys know, I'm a big Jack's Class Superstars guy. So really made a lot of sense. Been working on this for like a year now. There's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears on that one. Not so many tears, but blood, I guess wallet tears is what it's been. But you guys know I'm all in on the Jack's Class Superstars. And on top of everything I've been doing on this channel, on top of everything else in the day job and family stuff and all that, I've been working behind the scenes to get this book done. So much more very soon. Hopefully pre-orders very soon. But I wanted to make the announcement right here, let you guys know all about it. So look out for the Jack's Classic Superstars book. It's going to be a big one. You might be able to kill somebody with it if you need to. I wouldn't recommend it, but hey, the option's yours. Free will at the end of the day. So there it is, wrestling figure news for the week. What a week for wrestling figure news. As we tiptoe our way into the holiday, have to think things will slow down a little bit. We'll see what ends up happening there. But of course, stay tuned tomorrow or Friday early for Patreon members. We will have a normal toy news. Of course, weekly purchases this week as well. But a lot of toy news to talk about, non-wrestling related tomorrow. And we'll get to all of it on Saturday. So make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video. Always helps, of course. And then, of course, don't forget about the Patreon. I mentioned it a few times in this video, but it is the best way to support the channel at the end of the day. Patreon, of course, going on all the time over there. You got a CM Punk thing as well. Of course, that is the giveaway for the month of December. You can also support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com, search Kyle Peterson. And don't forget social media, SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. So for another toy news of the week, wrestling edition, bonus edition, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.